Yes. Hold on.
I'll start with the video editing.
Yeah. Can you send the link to your WhatsApp?
Yeah.
So I can open it. Or you can send it wherever. I don't know. The link to your WhatsApp. Oh my god.
Is it?
Heard that.
Oh, it is.
Again. We're back. Difficulties.
Yeah, it's kicking our ass today.
Yeah, but we're gonna go it. We're still gonna do it.
Okay, so foundations. Where were we at?
I think we were speaking on. I think you were gonna touch on some of the foundations that you.
Okay, yeah.
So like, I know you answered it, but like practically, like, okay, one thing that you can say, okay, before mentorship, this, after. I know you mentioned vision. There was a vision, but like practical stuff.
Yeah, I think definitely I would say discipline.
Okay.
I think I definitely lacked an understanding of what discipline really meant.
Mhm.
I thought discipline was like when you get in trouble.
Okay.
Like I used to
You do something wrong and they discipline you.
and they discipline me. So it was
Okay.
like that was my constant notion of what
Discipline is.
kind of is. Not really that you had to discipline yourself.
Mm.
It was always that others would discipline you.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that isn't the case. Sometimes,
Yeah.
because sometimes it is that
Yeah.
other people cause
Straighten
you
you
to have
out.
to discipline yourself.
Yeah.
But it was almost like if someone wasn't telling me to do something,
Mhm.
I wouldn't do it myself, if you understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying. So, like, within, like, meeting mentorship, I think, first of all, that was even a huge level of discipline for me already. As I keep on referring to my childhood, but I think it's important because I didn't listen to nobody, like, no one. Not my mom, not my dad, not my teachers, no one. I didn't listen to anyone. So already me kind of coming into that space of where I was going to allow somebody else to kind of lead me on the path that I needed to be led onto was already a huge problem. Like, it was already a huge difficulty for me. So I constantly had to tell myself that, like, kick back, like, control yourself, control your emotions, control that you don't really like this situation, but you know it's good for you. Because again, it's almost like you do your revision and stuff, and you often don't like the feeling of
sitting on
isolate yourself, working for hours on end for one day of an exam.
Literally, it's not even a day, it's like an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Literally an hour and a
An
half.
hour and a half.
And
I
it's
think
like that paper will change your
accounting
whole life.
exams can come like a day. Some exams are like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Yeah. I've never
even with
experienced
that 4 hours and you're revising for like months and months and months and you've even like been studying for years, that has to require a certain level of discipline, and you have to inflict that on yourself.
Yeah.
Like for a long time I was just really bad at inflicting pain on myself. Like I liked comfort, so I would always drive myself to comfort.
Yeah.
And then
Always looking for the easy way out.
exactly. So of course I keep on talking about this leadership word because it also played a very, very huge part. So
Yeah.
I would say maybe number 1 being discipline, number 2 being leadership.
Yeah.
I needed discipline even to enter leadership. Because
How were you able to almost forget? Because I feel like, because I understand in the similarity of, okay, I have a mentor as well and I have someone that almost leads me, but how were you able to kind of forget everything that you feel like, okay, because to a certain degree you have, maybe you weren't where you wanted to be, but there were certain things that you were able to accomplish by yourself without leadership. So how were you able to almost forget all of that and say, okay, I'm just going to forget everything that I knew before and I'm actually just going to allow leadership or mentorship to just direct me, even if I'm uncomfortable with it, even when I'm just like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. How were you able to just like become comfortable with
the
that?
truth is, I don't think I really accomplished much without the leadership. That's the very truth. So it was like, I always used to think, I don't think I accomplished that much. I mean, I got my GCSEs, I got my A-levels, and things like that. I mean, I was able to do like little things here and there. I started my other 2 businesses prior to this business and things like that. But there was never, they always reached a certain point.
Hit a glass ceiling.
So it always hit somewhere where it was like, you can't take yourself past here. So it was a thing of, like it was, I didn't have to really let go of anything or forget about anything, because I understood that my ability could only take me to a certain point. And that for me to get to the next point, I had to kind of lean on someone else's ability, somebody else's wisdom, somebody else's understanding, because I think all of those things are often what limits us, because a lot of us come from backgrounds where we're not so exposed or we're not open or privy to certain level of conversations. Our thinking can be very limited.
Definitely.
So,
I definitely agree with that.
So naturally, it was like when I stepped into that place of leadership and mentorship, it literally felt like a hunger was being fed, like a hunger that I hadn't,
you didn't even know.
I was almost like starving, you know, like a real starving kid. And it was almost like every time I would hear like his words, every time he would speak to me, it was almost like it was almost rejuvenating me and giving and kind of satisfying something that was there for a very, very long time that I didn't know how to satisfy. I don't know if it's kind of making
I get
sense.
you. So it was almost like there was a craving satisfied that you weren't even awake to that craving. You didn't even know that, oh my gosh, leadership is actually what I needed. Or that's what I was looking for. In all your naughtiness and all your, I don't listen to mom, I don't listen to dad, I don't listen to anyone. It was actually leadership that you needed.
And I
so
think,
even in that, why is it that you couldn't find that leadership in the people around you?
No. There was nobody that I was looking to say that you were enough or good enough or
for me to want to be like,
enough for me to want to be like. And I think even growing up, that was my problem. My problem was always that I don't want to be like you. I don't like, you can't tell me nothing because I don't want to end up like you. So it was almost like I saw something in them that I was like, I would like to be like. And naturally it was just like,
and he's not an accountant.
He's not an accountant, no.
He's not in finance.
He's not in finance.
Okay.
So naturally I kind of fell into that line. So definitely foundations, discipline, leadership. But I feel like you've got a leadership journey as well. So tell us a bit about your leadership journey and how you've kind of...
I think leadership is actually a big reason why I'm in this industry anyway, honestly, because I think when I spoke last week and I spoke about, okay, me not having an interest in finance at all, I studied psychology and business. There was no, like, even with that, it was, okay, business was because my dad said, oh, go and do something that is a little bit reputable. So that's why I studied it. But I think I was doing those things, and even though I enjoyed the finance modules, coming out of uni and like the different roles that I was in, as much as I felt like, okay, I'm learning something, like I think like you said, there was no vision to it. There was not a reason, like I didn't have a reason why I was doing this. And I think even when I met leadership or mentorship and they said, okay, no, explore finance, and they gave me certain roles around that, even then I still didn't fully understand why I was doing it. But I think just knowing that, okay, this person, they seem like they're doing something with themselves. It looks like they have their head screwed on. This is someone that I would want to be like, even though they're not in the field at all. I feel like just their values and their principles, him speaking to me and saying, okay, no, I think this will work for you, or train yourself like this. And again, discipline as well. I think that's one of my, and you work with me, so maybe you can also say, when I first started, I think procrastination was, me and procrastination are like this. And that's me being honest, because it's like, again, it came from the fact of, I don't feel like I need to do this, or it felt like, oh, this is too much. Oh, I'll come back to it later. I'll come back to it later. I'll come back to it later. And it's like, I think there's a saying that procrastination is a thief of time. I think that's the saying.
A thief of time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's something that my mum always used to say to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she always be like, oh, no, make sure if you have something to do it now. But it's like, even with those words always being said to me, that do it now, it still didn't drive me to want to do it now, because there was no vision as to why I actually need to do this now. So I think leadership definitely coming in and just showing me that, okay, the ability that you believe that you have, with the potential where you see yourself, you can get there. Because it's like, my leader said so many things to me that, oh no, I can see you in this role, I can see you doing this. And sometimes I'm like, listen, I grew up in East London, my mum lives in Essex, like, just, I don't see myself getting there at all. But it's almost like these little foundations and disciplines actually train you for that, because I don't think anything can train you for that specific role, but it's like your journey is what trained you to be that person.
Definitely. And you spoke about, or we both spoke about seeing that inspirational, like, figure in the leader. But like, for example, if I was to say, like, I'm trying to think of somebody, like, there's lots of people in finance at the moment that are like also inspirational. Why would you not choose one of them as your mentor? Like, what other attributes, or what other attributes did you see in this person to actually say, okay, they can lead me?
Do you know what it is? I think one thing that I do really appreciate about my mentor is that he's very, if he's doing something, he's gonna put his all into it. And I think having that close relationship and seeing what goes into his days, day in, day out, and I may not get to sit down and speak to him every day, that's the truth, because there's loads of other people that he's speaking to and mentoring. But the fact that in our conversations I can see that, okay, even in a thought, there's so much that goes behind it. Like, he doesn't just say, okay, he wants to do this, he's immersed himself into what he's doing. And I think that's what is different for me, because like you said, there's so many figures of people in finance, in this, but some people, it looks like they're doing it out of so they can have a name, so that they can be known as, oh, this person in finance. And but genuinely,
hit the
nail on the head.
hit the
nail on the head
with that. Because I think another thing for me was how they were able to absorb me. Because like, I think everyone has their little issues, everyone has their problems, everyone has their very good attributes. But I think the best managers, the best leaders, the best departmental leaders are the people who are able to absorb people in terms of you're able to absorb their good and their bad. And I feel like, again, I think we made mention of this in the first week, about like being able to see people's weaknesses. As a leader, you've got to be very accepting of that. To actually even be able to get the best out of people. So it's like, for me, first of all, probably maybe like I think I'm quite harsh on myself because I'm always like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like this, I'm like
Yeah.
like that, and I can see a lot of my negatives, and I think again that's probably from my upbringing because I always got in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's like
You're used to seeing.
so
oh,
I'm used to
Corinne did this
trouble. I'm
bad,
used to
yeah.
seeing like the bad things in me,
Mm-hmm.
and I was never ever like I don't think there was much days where I got congratulated or much days when I got a pat on the back
Certificates or-
or certificates. I didn't ever get certificates. I didn't get
Really?
no, I didn't actually win none of that stuff. So it was just like because of hearing so much bad, it kind
Yeah.
of brought this thing on me where I can only see the bad things in me. But it was like even to know that he was also able to maybe see bad things in me. I don't know if he saw bad things or good things in me. I don't know what he saw in me. That's the truth. But
You saw something.
the fact that he was able to like just take on my character.
Yeah.
This
The
character
entirety
can
of
be
it.
very overbearing at times. Like it was like, wow,
Okay.
this is different. And I think
I think it comes from someone that just genuinely cares.
yeah, and the best leaders are those sort of people that
Yeah.
genuinely care
Yeah.
about people. Because we think it's about, they say that money doesn't make the world go around, but even money is very important in the world.
It is.
It's very, very
Let's not
important.
pretend.
But even like your ability to make money actually comes from the people. Like
Yeah.
it genuinely comes from people, and it may not necessarily be people in your company because you may be a sole trader and you may be the only person in your company, but you interact with people when you have your clients, when you have
your
suppliers,
vendors, yeah.
when you have all of the, they're all people.
Yeah.
So it's like once you can understand the notion of that, people are actually the highest currency.
Yeah.
People are actually the most
The greatest
important
capital.
thing. The greatest capital. I think you would then become quite powerful.
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah.
with people or financially or whatever, but even in yourself.
Mm.
Because I think for me as well, another thing that was like kind of also made me see like forget my flaws. Because again I keep on talking about flaws is because for me that was a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And I
That's what you
only
could
be
see.
Honest,
Yeah.
honest, like I could see so many flaws.
Yeah.
And it's like being able, because I don't think we've spoken about this, but there was a point in my life where I mentored like a good 8 females
Yeah.
that lived with me
Yeah.
in my house. And in
Alongside
that time,
raising your daughter.
Huh?
Alongside raising your
my
daughter.
daughter. And that was like the most challenging time of my life. Like the most challenging time of my life. Because
Yeah.
as you said, with people that come, like they say more money, more problems, but it's actually
More people, more problems. 100%.
Understand that. More
100%.
people, more problems. And it was like, but the thing is, I kept on giving myself over to them. Like,
Yeah.
I kept on, when they would have bad days, I kept on opening up my doors and saying, come and speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
When they would have good days, I kept on congratulating and saying, you did this, so you
Yeah.
can do this next.
Yeah.
When they weren't too sure, I took my time out to actually figure it out with them, even when I wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
And at the time, it seemed like, where is this getting you?
Yeah.
Because maybe even they didn't show me much appreciation. But
Yeah.
now, when I have conversations with some of them where they've developed to a point where they're able to see a better version of themselves,
Yeah.
they can also tell me that, like, honestly, you changed my life.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what made me know, okay,
Yeah.
this is it.
But I feel like it's to be expected, because if your heart is genuinely rooting for someone and want the best for someone, and you're taking, like you said, when they have their down days, it's almost like, okay, we're down together,
Yeah.
come and speak to me. When
Yeah.
they're doing well, it's like, no, keep going.
Yeah.
That leaves a mark on someone.
Yeah, but it's
and
a
I think
long road.
it is a long road.
It's a long road.
It's a
and
very
I think
long road.
as well, that's where many people are like,
This is a lot.
this is a lot.
I'm
So
tapping
it's
out.
like the title today is we've crossed out the you
Yeah.
can do it,
And it's we.
It's we can do it, because there's no person that can do it on their own. Like
Yeah.
as strong as you are, with as much ability. So we've spoken about mentorship, but
Yeah.
even without mentorship, I couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Bro, I could never do it without you.
It's almost like
I
even
can't.
without you, I couldn't
Yeah.
do it. Even without the person that is leading my socials, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without you.
Having that team.
having that team,
and I think
having
what's,
that community.
what people don't realize, and I think that's why I appreciate mentorship so much, is because they're changing that notion of self-made.
Yeah.
I'm a self-made millionaire.
Self-made
I'm a
is not real,
self-made.
by the way,
no
guys.
one is
No one
truly,
is
truly
self-made.
self-made, because
Like-
you do need people to to get somewhere in
Yeah.
life. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You will need that
Even
person
to get
that
a promotion, there's somebody that has to look at you
and say, yeah,
and say, yeah, you qualify for this promotion. So you can say self-made, but actually somebody gave you that kind of that hand up
up.
to the next level, to the
Yeah.
next place. Of,
I think self-made is not, okay, I made myself. It's more so you were self-determined and you were open to working with people to then build something. Because like you said, there's no self-made. As much as they can talk about a Mark Zuckerberg and he was like, oh, the founder of Facebook, and he was in his room and he had a team of people.
Yeah, he had a team.
Likewise
of
with
people.
Steve Jobs.
And I'm sure they probably had a certain level of mentorship themselves as well.
Yeah.
I haven't read too much into their story.
Yeah.
But I think like a perfect example would be like JP Morgan.
Yes.
And I think
yes,
JP
yes.
Morgan is like someone big in the finance industry.
Yeah.
I think everyone
Everyone knows JP Morgan.
JP Morgan
Yeah.
and what he does. And he had a mentor.
Yeah.
Well, he had a parent.
But I think that's the thing. Some people are lucky that their
can find
parent is
mentorship
someone in your parent.
yeah.
There's someone that is like, okay, mom, I want to be like you. Okay, dad, I want to be like you. And that's not to say that, okay, your parents, they know nothing, because I mean, they are the first people that will always want the best for you.
Yeah.
So
but
they're
sometimes you just feel like there's not that level of relation because, like, even at the point that I'm at now,
Yeah.
I've accomplished way more than my mum has accomplished her entire life.
Yeah.
And that's not with any disrespect.
Yeah.
But it's just like now there's not really much you can tell
Say
me
to me.
because it's almost like the point that I'm at, you haven't even lived it out yourself, and
Yeah.
you weren't even able to take yourself to that point.
Yeah.
So it's like where I'm looking to you for hope, advice. What you're telling me is
It's gonna
not good
cap me
enough.
at a certain
It's
level.
gonna cap me. So it's
Yeah.
like JP Morgan. He had his dad, and his dad was a huge trader within the UK. And he worked very much in the transport and railway system.
Yeah.
But if you read about JP Morgan's story, his dad was like very disciplined on him. Like,
Yeah, very.
His dad was very,
Extremely.
very.
It
strict.
almost seemed a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is actually a kid. Like,
Yeah.
let him have a
But
childhood.
I think that definitely was probably one of the keys for his greatness.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, actually, there was a point in my life when my mum, when I had my child, I could almost, without even like sounding too harsh, there was a point where I hated my mum. And that was simply because,
Yeah.
and we've got to be real for you guys.
Yeah.
Right? I hope I'm not getting too deep, but we've got to be real. And it was simply because I realized why spoiling a child is such a bad thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't clean, I couldn't cook, I couldn't look after myself. I didn't wash my clothes, I didn't wash my
It's
plates.
so funny, like, wow, for you to say that, because I've lived with you and you do all those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're even a bit, just chill a little bit, just chill. So it's like, how did you put that on yourself?
Like, honestly, I had to teach myself
Yeah.
everything. And for me, it made me despise my mom so much because I was just like,
Why didn't you do this with
didn't
me?
you discipline me? Like, why did you think it? As much as I loved the spoiling, then I
Yeah,
loved
of
it. Don't get me
course.
wrong, it was amazing to not have to wash my plate. Like my mom would come to my room, take my plate. The only thing she didn't do was my laundry, but she would take my plate.
Yeah.
She would wash it for me. Like she did everything for me.
Yeah.
So I lived like a princess.
What
Like I was
life.
living life.
Now that you say that, I don't think I was that spoiled.
Yeah,
I don't think I
probably
was
a
that
different
spoiled, yeah.
But like my child now, people would probably say like I'm very disciplined on that.
Yeah. But I think because you've experienced that side of, okay, no discipline,
Yeah.
no direction, just living life however you want to, knowing what you've had to do to
Yeah.
then instill those values,
Yeah,
I think that's why you are so hard on her.
yeah,
And not to the point where it's extreme, but just saying that, okay, these are the foundations that will actually help you
exactly.
in future.
So it's like I actually realized that the lessons that you're taught with as a child, you will grow up with. So
Yeah.
his dad taught him to like be in his books,
Yeah.
like, study, be interested, like be like they would lock him away. And
Yeah.
it sounds really extreme, like they would lock him away, but he was also ill.
Yeah.
And that kind of put him in a place where he also was isolated
From a lot of
many
people, yeah.
And as much as it's like, okay, that forced him to be disciplined. Because I think we had this conversation
Yeah.
prior to coming on. And,
Yeah.
and I think a point that you made was that, like, okay, would you really say that he then set discipline as a foundation for himself?
Yeah.
Because he was
Forced to.
be away because
Yeah.
he was sick.
Yeah.
But then, from reading his story and delving deeper into his story, he also then chose in his isolation to become a book addict.
Yeah.
So he would spend a lot of time reading books of scientists, other people that like helped with financial crises
yeah.
and things like that. So he was constantly filling himself with knowledge.
Yeah.
Like so much knowledge. But it was like, I could be locked away, from being ill, and I can decide to just load in that and just be like, yeah, I'm sick. Like, I don't need to do much. Like,
and the truth is, the world that we live in will tell you that that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's not to say...
go on.
That's not to say that... I'm not going to say it's okay.
Yeah.
That's the truth, because I feel like everyone has a degree of what is almost like a hindrance to them.
Yeah.
It may not be a sickness. It may not be something that affects my childhood, but I feel like everyone has a point where it's like, okay, I can actually choose for this thing to stop me, or I can choose to say that, okay, I'm gonna accept this, I'm gonna embrace that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I may not be
So it's a choice.
I may not be the smartest, I may not be able to read and write properly, but I'm going to force myself to be on the level that I want to.
Of course, and like again, that level of discipline that he put himself through started to birth the man that he became. Like, JP Morgan became.
He was a
one
beast.
of the most influential.
He was a beast.
Men.
I think
Like,
definitely if you haven't like read about him or even watched documentaries about him, he's someone that
definitely.
even if you don't want to get into finances, he's definitely someone that you can look at and be like, okay, no, this is someone that said I'm gonna do something. And
100%.
I think one thing of his story that I found quite fascinating was that he was working with his dad's company, and he was making certain decisions that even like the shareholders and his seniors were like, they don't think that's the right thing. But he was so sure in the foundations that he set, the research, the reading that he's done, that he said, okay, I get
And
it.
he freed us from a financial crisis.
Exactly. So he was like, okay, I understand that you guys may not understand this, but all those hours he spent reading and researching and understanding and being sure and confident in himself.
Yeah, and he started out as an accountant.
Yeah.
And then became a banker that freed us from a financial crisis. So again, I think it's actually also showing that you can develop into anything.
You can.
Because it's it's almost like, okay, so this guy...
I mean, you used to design companies.
Oh, yeah.
And design events, sorry.
Design events.
So
put up balloons
exactly,
and
balloon arches and baby showers and weddings and everything. And look at you now. So you can become into anything.
Yeah, so I think like the main thing that we've kind of covered today is in foundations. We've spoken about discipline. We've spoken about leadership. And honestly, I think for me, I don't know if you've got anything to add, and feel free to add. Those two foundations are clean enough at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that there's not going to be other values and things.
100%.
Of course, there's other values, there's other commitments, etc. But the leadership and the discipline is the most important to me at the moment.
Yeah.
Whatever comes out of that, first of all, will then develop me to whatever point next. So I don't know if you feel like it's the same or...
I think so. Honestly, I think so, because just as you've mentioned, before leadership, there was no thought of being in finance. There was no... And I think one thing that I did want to mention from before...
They open up your vision.
Exactly. For me, and like I said, this is no disrespect again to my dad. I think for the space that he's in, he's done quite well. He's been able to build a business, but I sit down and I'm like, okay, you've built a business. Of course, he's got many employees. I think over 50 employees. So he is helping people, but I'm thinking, you haven't built a community. Yeah. And I look at us like, okay, we may have been running for 2 years now, but from the get-go,
who have you helped?
There's
like,
people that we're
that?
saying, okay, no, when I started, I didn't know who to talk to. Like I mentioned, we were the community. She was my community in accounting, because there was no one that I could really speak to have that direct access that, okay, you run a business, you've been able to build this to a success. Okay, help me. There was no one that I had that access to. So I think for me, why the community is so important, and why mentorship was important, and why, even though my mentor is not in finance, he's not in anything to do with what I do day to day, I think the fact that he can say that, no, I'm building a community where, regardless of your background, regardless of your age, your color, socioeconomic status, whether you came from Chelsea or you came from, I don't want to say anyone's area, but whether you came from wherever, you can still be a part of something that will change your life. So I think for me, definitely leadership, mentorship, it's the greatest foundation that you can actually give yourself.
I think on that note, we can round up the first part of the conversation. We're going to have a quick video, and then we'll go more into the emphasis. More into the emphasis of community.
Yes.
And we.
Yes.
Not you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Corinne Kobe Jackson, and I am the lead accountant here at Accounted. I do everything from account filing, payroll, bookkeeping, filing your VATs, everything you need accounting wise, and business advisory. I'm your person.
3, 2, 1.
Bookkeeping, business advisory, business consulting, these are all services that if you need, I'm your girl. So I'm Yana, and I'm the lead business consultant here at Accounted, and I also deal with all the operations. So you can call me the operations manager. We're back.
And the conversation of we.
Yes. You
So,
take it away?
Okay, I'll take it away. The community.
Yes. Accounted community.
And I think it was a couple of days ago where I put in like our team group chat that the community is actually the most important thing now.
Yeah.
Not, of course, don't get me wrong, I like making money. So don't mistake me there.
Don't get us wrong.
But
we do like seeing money in
I
our
was
account.
basically saying that the community is the people are the most important thing at the moment.
Yeah.
And again, I keep on saying this community is not just made up of students. We have some of our business owners that tune in.
Yeah.
And some of our business owners, like, I think I was having a call the other day.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I was just like, I feel like I'm a motivational
Yeah,
speaker.
yeah.
And that's because we literally are constantly working with people.
Yeah, because it's about people.
Because it's about people.
Yeah.
And we are kind of using this opportunity to gather more people to actually kind of create a change. So in the first part, or in our first talk or first podcast or whatever you want to call it, we spoke about being able to change a community and industry, being able to like rewrite the accounting industry. And the only way we would be able to do that is with people, and a group of people that also understand that they need people. So again, like where Nana was able to realize that she needs me, and I was able to realize that I need her, and we were able to realize that I need my mentor, I need my leader. We kind of want to bring you guys into that conversation with us today. We want to tell you that as much as at the moment it looks like you can do it on your own, like look, you've been in this space where maybe you're trying to achieve something and you keep on finding that I don't know the next steps, I don't know how to get myself out of this dark place, or I don't know how to, and maybe you're not in a dark place, you're in a good place, and you're like, but I don't even know how to get I feel
there.
Like every single time, I don't think there's any human being that there's not something in you that's telling you can do more.
Yeah. I feel like as people, because I think it was my mentor that said it the other day, that we're really the same.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Whether you were brought up in Africa or whether you were brought up in America, the core of an individual is the same. And I think everyone wants to be great. Yeah. Regardless of if you were born into greatness or you were born into maybe the not so great a situation. There's always, some people may be really small, some people may be really big, but there's always that desire that I want to be bigger than this.
Exactly. And that's where we're kind of coming into the picture as the people that can help you become the person it is that you want to become. And it may sound like that's a huge call to make, but the reason I can make that call is because I have the confidence in my team.
Yeah.
I have the confidence in the people that I speak
Yeah.
to on a daily basis, that honestly we can create something so different.
Yeah.
Something that people have never seen before, something that is new, something that is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So where I was driving the conversation from I to we today, it's simply to just gather a people of like mind,
Yeah.
gather a people that
They're not
maybe
just
you're
thinking
doing
about
well,
them.
you're not doing well, you're doing like just people that are just saying, I'm not gonna be satisfied with this current situation.
Yeah.
And not only am I not going to be satisfied with this current situation, I'm also going to bring everyone else
Yeah.
that's not satisfied with their current situation
Yeah.
and tell them there's something here that I can see, or something here that's brewing. I feel like we should all do this together.
Yeah.
We're looking for more people that are saying that, yeah, let's not try and just make an impact on them. People are glory hunters.
Yeah.
You know, like footballers, they want to score that goal.
Yeah,
so
or
they can
that
do
hat trick. So
that-
it's like, oh,
yeah.
it's their name, it's their.
Yeah,
But
but it's like, even with the biggest the biggest banks and the biggest accounting firms and consultancy firms that we see today,
yeah,
they're called it's a Morgan group, like it's a family.
Yeah.
That created that. You would talk about like a PwC, a Price,
Waterhouse.
Waterhouse. It's a family. All of these names are derived from families.
Yeah.
If you even think about, think way back into like the beginning days of accounting and banking and things like that, you think of families like the Medici family.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a family,
Yeah.
a community, and we don't have to be blood to be Nana is my goddamn family.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
my this
And
is
it's
my
so funny
sister.
because we were both only children.
Yeah.
So it's like
I feel like we were
actually,
quite similar.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
had kind of like
yeah,
we were quite similar.
similar upbringings,
Yeah.
but nobody can tell me that this is not my sister.
Exactly. So it's like community is, or family is
Mm-hmm.
not just based on the fact that we're blood related or the fact that I grew up with you.
Yeah.
It's literally just on people that have the same ideology, the same vision.
Yeah.
So what we're using this podcast to do is seek out those that have the same ideology, the same vision.
Or may not have that right now, but they want to.
Oh, exactly. Or
They
they
want
may
to.
not have it right now.
Yeah.
But they're developing themselves to the pace of wanting that.
Yeah.
We're saying join the community, and don't join the community also to just be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't just join the community to just
Yeah, because I think we said it to our community the other day that you get out of something what you put in. That's the truth. Like if I'm truly seeking something, if I'm truly seeking to be great, I will ask the questions that's needed. I will do the things that seems like, oh, not everyone's doing this, but it's like those are the things that will set you apart.
Yeah.
That's how you get it. I think being part of the community and saying hi or whatever it's great. But actually saying that, okay, I'm ready to kind of give up what I may desire as an individual and actually say that I'm accepting what this collective is a part of and I'm actually gonna do it, because the truth is it's still a collective of individual people. So everyone still has their own identities, their own personalities, their own perspectives,
and you couldn't be me. So it's like everyone has their part to play. In a body, like
there's different parts,
there's all different organs.
Yeah.
But you couldn't say that your heart isn't as important as your lungs.
or
Like-
even your hand is not as important as your foot.
Exactly, because the truth is,
They have
without
different
one
functions.
thing, your body will become dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be, some things may not cause you to have a huge dysfunction, but
Yeah.
it's still important
Yeah.
for the functionality of your body.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're saying actually, I'm even coming to say to you that we can't do it without you guys.
Yeah. We can't. That's
we
the
can't
truth.
do it without you guys. So we're actually also looking for the next finance leader within our department. We're looking for the next social media manager. We're looking for the next bookkeeper. We're looking for
Even the next administrator. Like
administrator.
you
We're
may not
looking
have
for
the skills,
next student
the
that's just
technical
coming to be
skills.
an intern.
Yeah.
We're looking for the next
Because people
person.
don't realize that different perspectives actually make you learn so many different things.
Yeah.
Like that 2-week internship that we had, it made me learn so much about people and knowing different characters.
Yeah.
Because you remember on the first day,
Yeah.
everyone, you can say, hi guys, everyone's like,
Yeah, I remember I had to tell everyone to stand up.
Stand up,
go
sit
back out of
down,
the
shake
room,
it out,
shake it out.
and whatever. But you realize over time how like a genuine relationship with someone will bring out who they truly are.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And
Yeah.
it can seem like, oh, this person's so quiet, or
Yeah.
they may not have anything to bring, but
Everyone's got a
growing,
special gift in them.
everyone,
And
because everyone has a different perspective.
different perspectives. So it's like we're just saying today, as we round up on our
Podcast this week.
that join the community, join the vision, because you will see us on your TV screen.
You will.
You will.
You will.
So
So join in now.
Join
when
in
it's
now. You want to be able
the
to
buying
say,
price
oh,
is low.
I was there when, like,
You know.
when they were like doing it from like some small place.
Yeah,
I
from
was
their
there when like they didn't have 1,000 offices all over the globe.
when they were having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I was there when they were having technical difficulties. You
But
weren't able to say you were.
You
part
were
of that
there.
story.
Exactly.
So,
I think the people that were at the part of Apple, they can hold their chest high and be like, yeah, I was there. I was in
Yeah.
that shed. I was in that garage. I was there
Yeah.
building and trying to create the ideas. So
So we're reaching out our hand and
Yes.
saying, grab on,
Join us.
join us,
and honestly,
take
guys,
this journey with us.
it's my birthday tomorrow.
It is
So,
Nana's birthday tomorrow.
Even if you join the
That's
community
why
and you're like,
parents
oh,
don't leave.
yes. Even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to join, please, just for the birthday present for me. Just join. Just join.
Give
And
Nana a
trust
good birthday
me,
present.
trust me, you will get out what you want from it.
Yeah, and I think just to say one last thing, like I was able to actually offer within our community
Oh, yes.
some revision sessions.
Oh, yes.
And that revision session is actually being led by one of my teachers that taught me in college. And
That hated you in
that
college.
hated me. That really liked me. That
Yes.
I was quite troublesome, so she used to send me out of my classes.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, even she recognized me
Yeah.
because her first thing was like, "How can I help?"
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
even she could see that. Oh yeah, this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, let me help out.
Yeah.
Let me also aid in the growth of what's going to take over the accounting industry.
Yes.
So, and then from that, you've got a group chat where you can speak to many other students,
Yeah.
topics that you're struggling with, they can help you with,
Yeah.
and things like that. So there's so much opportunities to kind of network and solve many problems that probably wouldn't be problems if you had people.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that says everything. A lot of your problems will not be problems if you actually just had people.
Yeah. So on that note, thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you,
Our
guys.
socials will be on the screen for you to kind of just scan the QR code.
Yes.
And join us in our community. Join us on Instagram. Join us
TikTok.
on TikTok. Join us on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be speaking a lot more and watch us grow rapidly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for
We're
watching. Bye.
Bye.